I am an old woman named after my mother. My old man is another child that's grown old. If dreams were lightning, thunder were desire, this old house would have burnt down a long time ago. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster from an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living is just a hard way to go, yeah. When I was a young girl, I had me a cowboy. He weren't much to look at, just a free rambling man. But that was a long time. No matter how I try, years, they just roll by like a broken down dam. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster from an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living, just a hard way to go, yeah. There's flies in the kitchen, I can hear them, they're buzzing. And I ain't done nothing since I woke up today. Hi. How the hell can a person go to work in the morning, come home in the evening, and have nothing to say? Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster from an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living's just a hard way to go, yeah. To believe in this living, just a hard way to go. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. Woo, it's that pollen. You are welcome here. If you are joyful searching, come on in. We're all on this journey that starts within. If you hear you've been disowned, come join our circle. Turn off your phone. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are running, you got the right to seek sanctuary, guided by the light. If you hear that calling, well, come join the fight, marching for justice, candles lit in the night. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Good morning. Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist. I'm Don Katahdin, a member of the Worship Associates Ministry. I especially want to welcome any visitors or newcomers to our church and to call your attention to the special note for you, welcome guests and newcomers, on the back side of the order of service. I would also like to welcome those of you attending online. Lyrics to hymns and all elements of the service may be found on the screen, and a complete order of service, including this week's announcements, is available via the link in the Sunday morning email and on the church website. Our in-person Sunday social is held immediately following the service. Please turn off or silence any cell phones during our service to maintain a worshipful experience. I'll have to remember to do that. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. I now invite Allison Eskelson and Lois Lee to tell us about the Mountain Retreat and Learning Center.
Lois, I see you have a backpack all ready to take to the mountain. What have you got in there?
Oh my, I've got boots to go on a hiking trail and many of the hiking trails that are around the area at the mountain. I've got a camera to take photos of all of the beautiful sights at the mountain. I've got a chalice so that you can light this as you begin the services that we have in the evenings. that will support our theme of courage for this year. And I've got some sunglasses for when we're going to be relaxing on the lodge deck and looking at the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains.
That's great. Well, I'm ready for the nighttime because I like to climb up the tower so that I can view the Milky Way. The mountain is a great dark sky location, and so it's a great vista of the path of stars. And that makes me feel connected to the universe. It's a
Right.
spiritual experience for me.
And we'll be connecting with each other as we're at the mountain too, which will be very meaningful.
Especially at mealtime, which is a good time to be social together.
Right. The mountain accommodates special diets, and much of the food comes from the mountain's own farm and gardens. There's a lot to like about our retreat.
Which is why you and me and our spouses, Paul and Charles, plan to host a retreat for members of the congregation. We like to support this nonprofit UU Retreat and Learning Center as well.
Right. This year, our retreat starts on Thursday, May 29th at dinner time, and it ends on Saturday, May 31st after lunch. We chose those days so that we could be back here for the Rising Up service and for Jen's last day with us.
If you are interested in learning more, please stop by our table after the service, or if you're online, just go to the church website and put in a search for Mountain Retreat and you'll find more details. Thank you.
Please join us for the retreat at the mountain. You'll love it.
Amen.
I'm Barb Chapman. Question: what are pupusas? A delicious food of El Salvador. And Pupusas for Education is a delicious program to help immigrants attend college, start a business, find nutritious food. Clearly, it's a terrifying time for immigrants, but today, you can do something about that. You can help support young immigrants who want to attend a 4-year or community college but are undocumented or documented. You can help immigrants who want to learn how to establish a business and pay taxes on the income from that business. You can help launch a program that will address food inequalities in our area. All of this you can do by contributing to today's Share the Plate, Pupusas for Education. Glenda Polanco was the immigrant highlighted when our church voted to become a sanctuary church. Today, Glenda is director of the program for this worthy project. Please visit our table in the community room after the service to meet Glenda and learn more about how P4E started in a food truck and expanded to a life-saving community project. To donate by check, please write STP on the memo line or use your camera to scan the QR code in your order of service. And thanks so much for supporting immigrants. It's a powerful thing you can do in these frightening times. And no, we don't have pupusas today.
Okay.
I invite you to please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing our first hymn of the morning. It is number 347, Gather the Spirit.
Come, let us worship together. The word worship, as far as we can tell, comes from Old English. It is a word that connects two words. One of these words is weorth, which means worth, and the other word is skype, which means to shape or to form. We might think of worship then as shaping what has worth in our lives. We come together to do this, to be reminded of our deepest values, to repledge ourselves to our loftiest commitments, to figure out what is worthy of our efforts, and to shape lives of meaning and purpose. As Unitarian Universalists, we are not told what to worship. Instead, we are charged to shape our values and discover our highest good as individuals and in community. In that spirit, come, let us shape worth together. You will find the words for our chalice lighting in your order of service. If you wish to do so, please join me in reading them. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other.
So where do we go? Do we go from here? We believe that simple acts of kindness can build a bridge across a river wide, standing up to those who have been blinded to the good that we all have inside. You can see our beacon from afar. It's powered by the passion in our hearts, and we are the keepers of the flame, steady light that shines, showing us the way. We are the keepers of the flame, pushing back the darkness in our world today. Now you can hear the spirit in our voices, rising up together in a choir. We won't put you down, scorn your choices. We will lift you up and take you higher. You can see our beacon from afar. It's powered by the passion in our hearts, and we are the keepers of the flame, steady light that shines, showing us the way. We are the keepers of the flame, pushing back the darkness in our world today. Ooh. So where do we go? Do we go from here? Let love decide, not hate, not fear. No, 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 not fear. So won't you join us marching, banners held high, moving forward from this holy ground, speaking truth to power, we won't be denied. Won't be stopped, won't be shouted down. You can see our beacon from afar. It's powered by the passion in our hearts. And we are the keepers of the flame, steady light that shines, showing us the way. We are the keepers of the flame, pushing back the darkness in our world today. Pushing back the darkness in our world today. Pushing back the darkness in our world today.
So each week in our service, we hold a time for sharing the joys and the sorrows that we bring with us into this community. During this time, if you've come with either a significant personal joy or a significant sorrow that you would like to share, you're invited to come forward, place a stone in the water bowl, say your name into the microphone, and in a sentence or two, share your joy or your sorrow. Let us enter into this time of tenderness and trust. And anybody who has joys and sorrows may come up and line up at the sides, and we'll start with Alan and Susan.
Thank you, Tom. Among the 1,300 demonstrations against what Trump and his lackeys are doing was one in Chapel Hill yesterday. Several of you were there. We were there. And the first speaker was someone that we know well, and he spoke with clarity, with anger, and with controlled passion. He talked about how we were being stolen from and how we would take it back. He was the embodiment of Joe Straley in person. And he was Thom.
When Joe was a member here, we were known as the church who got preached to twice, once by the minister and once by Joe.
My name's Tracy McNeil, and I have two stones. One, if for anybody who's been watching our work, I work in women's health, and last time I had something to celebrate, Reverend Thom had to celebrate because I was living in California and it was remote. But we successfully closed another $5 million this week to support our work in making childbirth safer for new moms, and in light of all of the rollbacks of equity and inclusion and women's health, it feels really wonderful. And the other one was yesterday. I was out at a restaurant, and another person came in a wheelchair and went into the restroom, and I was going to give her time, but I had to go too. And so I went in, and she was stuck, and she allowed me to help her. And that was my first time helping another adult go to the bathroom, and it was really moving for me. And I was struck by how simple life is and what a privilege life is to be here. Thank you.
I placed this stone for my next door neighbor, Diane Bletchington. She is a very fit, very active 60-year-old. She had a significant stroke. I guess any stroke is significant on Wednesday. And this has really rocked her family's world and our world.
And she is a woman of great faith. We are on total opposite ends of the political spectrum, but she is a very dear friend, and I assured her that I would bring it to our congregation to please keep her in your thoughts. She's special, and her family would very much appreciate your love and support. Thank you.
You wanted to say it. Whatever you want. Yes, yes. So say it. Okay, we just want to say thank you for our family and thank you for our neighbors, right? And then she also wants to say that she misses her little cousin, right? Okay, thank you.
The final stone is placed for all the joys and the sorrows that we hold within us, that are not spoken and are no less real. Won't you join with me in some moments of prayer and meditation? We hold in our hearts love for our families, love for our neighbors, love for one another, love for people we work to help in ways small and in ways grand and significant. We hold a love that crosses barriers, that stretches us beyond our comfort zones at times, that brings us into real contact. This morning we hold in our hearts those who are facing illness, who are grieving loss, who are struggling to keep it together even when that's hard. We hold those who are faced with discrimination, and bias, and oppression. May we, as we shape what is of worth, of what is of greatest worth in our lives, may we remember this deep and transforming love. May it enter into our hearts and swell among us. As we hold the joys and the sorrows of our lives and of this world, let us hold together a few moments of silence. I invite you to be still with me. Amen. Invite us to remain seated as we sing our sung meditation. It's in your hymnal. It's not in your hymnal. It's on the front cover of your order of service. It is the song, "There Is a Love." There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. We're going to sing it 3 times, and each time we're going to change the pronouns from I to you to we. Let us sing.
Actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to sing it 4 times. We'll do it once together, unison, then we'll do a 2-part round for the other 3 verses. I'll lead you in the round. So we'll do the I twice, and then you and we.
I'm reading to you Exodus chapter 32, verses 1 through 6. When the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mountain, the people gathered around Aaron and said to him, "Come, make gods for us. Who shall go before us? As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." Aaron said to them, "Take off the gold rings that are on the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me." So all the people took off the gold rings from their ears and brought them to Aaron. He took these from them, formed them into a mold, and cast an image of a calf. And they said, "These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt." When Aaron saw this, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, "Tomorrow shall be a festival of the Lord." And they rose early the next day and offered burnt offerings and brought sacrifices of well-being. And the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up in revelry.
The second reading is very short. It's from our hymnal, and it's only 4 sentences long. It's ascribed to Ralph Waldo Emerson, although there's actually no evidence that Ralph Waldo Emerson ever wrote these words. But they're good words, so we'll give the credit to Ralph anyways. A person will worship something. A person will worship something. Have no doubt about that. We may think our tribute is paid in secret in the dark recesses of our hearts, but it will out. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts will determine our lives and character. Therefore, it behooves us to be careful what we worship. For what we are worshiping, we are becoming.
Freely have we received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate online, there is a QR code on the back of the order of service, and there is information on the church's website. And as Barbara mentioned earlier, our generosity extends beyond our walls as we give today's Share the Plate. Remember, you can donate online, or if you are writing a check for the pupusas for education, please write STP in the memo line. We will now receive the morning offering.
Okay, our offertory music is a little bit funky. It's Bob Dylan's Gotta Serve Somebody, and there's a part in there for you. Chorus is like this. You're gonna have to serve some pollen, sorry. Gonna have to serve somebody, serve somebody. You're gonna have to serve somebody. Serve somebody. Yeah, it may be the devil, it may be the Lord. You're gonna have to serve somebody. Serve somebody. Wow, you guys catch on quick. Here we go. You may be ambassador to England or France. You might like to gamble. You might like to dance. You may be the heavyweight champion of the world. You may be a socialite with a long string of pearls. You're gonna have to serve somebody. You're gonna have to serve somebody. It may be the devil, or it may be the Lord. You're gonna have to serve somebody. You might be a rock and roller, prancing on the stage. All kind of money and drugs, you got a woman in a cage. You might be a businessman, some high-degree thief. They may call you doctor, they may call you chief. You're gonna have to serve somebody. Yeah, you're gonna have to serve somebody. It may be the devil, it may be the Lord. You're gonna have to serve somebody. You might be a state trooper, you might be a young Turk, you might be the head of some big TV network. You might be rich or poor, you might be blind or lame, living in another country under another name. You're gonna have to serve somebody. Yeah, you're gonna have to serve somebody. It may be the devil, it may be the Lord. You're gonna have to serve somebody. You might be a construction worker working on a home. You You might be living in a mansion. You might live in a dome. You might own guns. You might even own a tank. You might be somebody's landlord. You might even own the bank, but you're gonna have to serve somebody. You're gonna have to serve somebody. It may be the devil, it may be the Lord. You're gonna have to serve somebody. It may be the devil, it may be the Lord. You're gonna have to serve somebody.
Well, it may be the devil or it may be the Lord, but you're gonna have to serve somebody. Famous lyrics from Bob Dylan. Thank you, Eric. A person will worship something, have no doubt about that. Words ascribed to Ralph Waldo Emerson. As Unitarian Universalists, it can be a little hard to know what exactly we should do with the story of the golden calf from the book of Exodus. I mean, there is that old joke that goes, Unitarians are people who believe in one God at most, which is kind of funny, but not exactly true either. In reality, we are theologically pluralistic. We are actually not at all concerned about the proper worship of the one true God, whatever that may mean. And actually, we embrace the idea that we can each discover, we can each shape for ourselves what is truly most worthy of our devotion. But there is another idea we might consider as well. There's a UU minister, an old friend of mine named Marlon Lavenhar. Marlon actually interviewed me for my first church job when I was 22. That's another story. But for the past 25 years, Marlon has served as the minister of the very large UU church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Serving in Tulsa means that he has to contend with some pretty harmful religious ideas. Anyways, Marlon once preached a sermon called Why Atheists Go to Church. And in that sermon, he said this. He said, when people ask me how we have atheists in our church, I tell them that in our church, we're much more concerned about idolatry than we are about atheism. That usually gets me an interesting look, and people's ears perk up. I explain then, he writes, that idolatry, of course, is when someone worships something that is less than God, or less than the ultimate good. Whenever someone devotes their life and best efforts to something smaller than what is of ultimate value, they are committing idolatry. We know people for whom money or power or prestige or fame and fortune have become the driving force and the highest good in their lives, even if they might claim otherwise. But Marlon says, at church, we offer better alternatives for what makes life valuable and meaningful. I think Marlon is right. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't actually care if you believe in God. We don't actually care about the name or the image of God you may or may not claim to believe in. But as Unitarian Universalists, we actually do care that we not worship ideas or ideologies that are unworthy of our devotion. Our religion, at its best, is a balancing act. On one hand, we each have the responsibility for creating our own image of God, our own idea of ultimate good. On the other hand, we need to be careful lest we create God in our own image. Online, I follow a Christian writer named Benjamin Creamer. Reverend Creamer is a minister in the Church of the Nazarene tradition. Apparently, he serves a Nazarene church in Boise, Idaho. And like when I say that, we should have absolutely nothing in common. Nazarenes and Unitarians are like unmixy things. But even though we come from completely different worldviews, I find myself agreeing with like 95% of what he writes. We come to our conclusions through completely different angles, but we wind up much in the same place. I want to share something that Reverend Creamer wrote recently. He wrote, "When you worship power, compassion and mercy will look like sins. When you worship power, cruelty towards your enemies will look like righteousness and truthfulness. When you worship power, tyrants and bullies will look like your saviors." That'll preach. I agree with that completely. We come through it through different. He comes through it by worshiping something that is not God, is idolatry, is that Exodus, is that golden calf. And I come from it from worshiping something that is less than the ultimate good, is unworthy. Listen to Emerson's words again. "A person will worship something, have no doubt about that. We may think our tribute is paid in secret in the dark, but it will out. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts will determine our lives and our character. Therefore, it behooves us to be careful what we worship. For what we are worshiping, we are becoming." The famous Reform rabbi, Chaim Stern, said nearly the same thing as our own St. Ralph may have said. Rabbi Stern said, "The gods we worship write their names on our faces. Be sure of that. The gods we worship write their names on our faces." Such a powerful image. Imagine taking a magic marker and writing your concept of the highest good, your most deeply held value, on your cheek or your forehead. Imagine what it would look like to walk through a day like that, or a life. But what Emerson and Rabbi Stern are saying is a little different. They're saying that what we actually worship will be evident in how we live our lives. We don't need to write it on our faces. It's already written there. It's written by how we live our lives. So let's get deep into this. What do you worship? What does our church worship? What does Unitarian Universalism worship? What does our nation worship? At the national level these days, it's kind of easy to see the false and unworthy idols that are routinely worshipped. Power and wealth, narcissism, the worship of the self. And of course, with the rise of white Christian nationalism, there is for sure that worship of power, but also worship of tribalism and identity and domination. It is all too easy, though, to point out the idolatries of others. Doing this is necessary, especially when idolatrous worship is causing harm to us and to the people we love. It's necessary, but it's not that difficult. It's much harder to recognize and to admit to our own idolatries. Remember, idolatry is one of those scary religious words that you don't hear often in a UU church. It doesn't really have anything to do with fashioning a golden calf out of jewelry. Idolatry means putting something first that is unworthy of being first. So let me ask you, and I'm not asking for like a show of hands or a callback. This is we're not taking like confession today. Are there things in your life that you have worshiped in that sense that have been really unworthy of your worship? That's a really personal question. And are there things we worship as Unitarian Universalists that are unworthy or less worthy of our worship? I'm really curious about what you may think about that. Actually, I'm really curious. Pop me a note. I have a few ideas. I think often in churches, we can have an idolatrous worship of comfort over the growth that comes from challenge. We can have an idolatrous worship of comfort over the growth that comes from challenge. As a minister, I try to walk that balance, which is always a balance. I don't always get it right, between offering comfort, which is more than pastoral care, which is kind of a reinforcement that we are, we're getting it right, or we're doing okay, with the other sense, which is a sort of a prophetic challenge, which is we need to do something else. I try to strike a right balance, but I think when it falls to one side or the other side, that becomes an idolatry. I think often in community and in society at large, we can have an idolatrous worship of a lack of tension over the presence of justice. Martin Luther King called this an obnoxious peace. He actually gave a sermon called "When Peace Becomes Obnoxious." It was given right before the start of the Montgomery bus boycott. When peace becomes obnoxious. And in that sermon, King spoke of people preferring a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, the lack of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice. Another place that can be an idolatry is the worship of image over authenticity. The image of what are people saying about me? How am I seen in the world, over this authentic claim of who we are and what we are about. So those are three ideas about idolatries that we can fall into. And I'd be really curious to hear what you think others are. Or have I lost you completely? No. Let's say one more thing about worship. In church right now, we actually find ourselves in what is called the budget season. What that means is that this is the time of the year where I and the board and the finance committee are putting together our proposed church budget for the coming year. The annual pledge drive, which was in February and March, has kind of ended, although we're still, doing a little bit of work on that. And we are going into this process of trying to craft a budget. I am reminded of something that Bishop William Barber said about budgets. He said that budgets are moral documents. Budgets are moral documents. He meant that at the level of like state budget and national budget. But it's a moral document all the way. A national budget is a moral document. A state budget is a moral document. A church budget is a moral document. A family budget is a moral document. We look at them and we can tell what it is that we worship, what it is that we value. And so we're in this process of trying to craft and create the most moral budget that we can possibly create. That's something that I think about. Yesterday, Alan and Susan beat me to this. I had the opportunity to speak at the April 5th Hands Off rally here in Chapel Hill down on Peace and Justice Plaza. I did not mince my words. Some of you have seen the video. After I spoke, I was kind of moving around, talking with different people, we had like 100 parishioners there. And all people I know from town, and I was just walking around saying hi and greeting people that I knew, and I spotted a young woman carrying a sign. And I was just drawn to this sign. The sign that she was carrying contained a Bible quote, Exodus 32. Aaron said to them, take off the gold rings that are on the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me. So all the people took off their gold rings from their ears and brought them to Aaron. He took these from them, formed them in a mold, and cast an image of a calf. And they said, "These are your gods, O Israel." I was just like, what an interesting sign. And so I made a beeline for her. I introduced myself. Turns out she's a divinity school student at Duke Divinity School. I asked what denomination, and she said, I love this, she said, United Methodist. And she was like, more like United Methodish. Which I thought was a great answer. And I was like, I'm preaching on that passage tomorrow. I'm preaching on that passage tomorrow. Why did you put that on your sign? And she said, well, it's kind of self-explanatory. We are worshiping through our decisions, through our lives, through how budgets we create, through the names that are written on our faces, through the lives that we lead. Those are telling us whether we are living something that is worthy or something that is unworthy. Amen, and blessed be. Our closing hymn this morning is number 34 in your gray hymnal, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to join in singing.
The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. Please join me if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Now let us thank all those who contributed to making this service worshipful. Please join in singing Shalom. The words are in your order of service. As you are comfortable, please either hold hands with the person next to you or cross your arms over your heart.